Is that a flash or is that a taser? Sound recorder.
Tumbleroot crowd, how the hell are you? Look at this insane turnout. Folks in line, how are you? Thirsty? Okay. This is the show. This is how it starts. There's no fog lights, there's no strobes, anything. Just a white man pandering to you. You guys are a great looking crowd. How about that? Give it up for yourselves for coming out. And give it up for the great Tumbleroot for having us and your bartenders. They're working really hard. Everybody in line, you're going to get through just fine, I promise you. How you guys doing? This is a healthy looking room. You guys look good. You feel good? I feel good. I just recently conquered a case of the coronavirus. Have you heard of this? I just got over that. It took me a long time to catch COVID, like almost into year 3, I guess now. Everybody else was catching it left and right. It took me almost 3 years. It's like losing my virginity in high school all over again. Except in high school, the infection lasted way longer than 10 days. And at least this time I had the vaccine. In high school, unprotected. That was just the way it went. My COVID wasn't that bad. Honestly, wasn't that bad. I was quarantined with my girlfriend, and she was pretty sick, honestly. She was pretty sick. But my only symptom was a sore wrist. Most of you are with, I was shellacking my dick. That's what I'm trying to tell you, yeah. I jerked off way more than the CDC recommends, like way more. I was like a frontier matron trying to shuck enough corn to feed my 17 children. While my stupid husband dies of dysentery like the failure I always knew he was. It was honestly, it felt a little like early lockdown because I had all this time and I almost felt like hope creeping back in. Like I would wake up every morning and my brain would be like, hey, maybe today we'll write a novel. And then my dick would go, the world doesn't need any more books. Get back in the dick whacking dungeon. I jerked off so much, I got bored with this. I tried this. Speaking of high school, a girl tried this, you know? I just was happy someone was touching it. I didn't correct her, I just let her keep trying. It wasn't working. Why did she think the claw drop was gonna do anything? I don't know why. She went to Stanford. That's true. My girlfriend and I, we tried to have COVID sex. Anybody else try that? No one? Okay, liars. We tried COVID sex, but like I said, she was sick, so it was just kind of sad, you know? It wasn't great. She was like, I want to come. I'm coming. Ow. Oh. So we didn't try that again, you know. And anyway, you know, fucking without your sense of smell, it was not the same. It wasn't, like fucking without your sense of smell is like fucking with a condom. Why would you, right? Tumbleroot crowd! My name is Tripp Stelniki. I'm your host tonight, by the way. I forgot to mention that. This is a Wayward comedy production. Local comedy. Yeah, appreciate that. I used to be a local comic. I used to live in Santa Fe. I just recently moved to Albuquerque. And, some booze. Every time I do this joke in Santa Fe, like my mom was less disappointed in me when I moved away. People in Santa Fe can't believe I moved to Albuquerque. When I lived in Santa Fe, I lived on the south side, which, you know, as we all know, is like the only like real part. Like there's no rough part of Santa Fe, but the south side, right? And now that I moved to Albuquerque, I live in the North Valley. Ooh. I basically moved from the Albuquerque of Santa Fe to the Santa Fe of Albuquerque. North Valley. Like the city flag of Santa Fe, we all know this, is a big white person's house with a tiny Black Lives Matter poster in the window. In the North Valley, it's a big white person's house with a tiny Black Lives Matter poster sponsored by Los Poblanos. That's the only difference. That's it. Santa Fe to the North Valley. I barely moved. I didn't even have to change granola dealers. Same guy, same route. Some of you are like, dealer? Why don't you just go to the co-op? You're not ready for the North Valley, right? Santa Fe and Albuquerque, they're not that far apart, but they're obviously a world of difference. We all know that. My favorite sign I ever saw in my life was in Santa Fe. It was on the side of a bus, and it said, If you see an animal in a hot car, call 911. Now, that's the most Santa Fe sign that's ever been made, right? Well, if you see that sign in the community where you live, like I did, what that means is that the rich whites where you live are so rich and so white that they don't know what problems are anymore. Making stuff up. There's a street light out near the church. Well, call an ambulance. I know there's a healthcare shortage. This is a real emergency, Daniel. If you saw an animal in a hot car in Albuquerque and you called 911 and the police showed up, if the police showed up, they'd be like, what are you, a fucking tourist? This is Albuquerque. You don't know how to break into a car? This is a real city with actual problems that we're not solving. We don't have time to start actually solving your made-up problems. If you want to call 911 about some white person nonsense, the nearest place is Rio Rancho. All right? Yes, Rio Rancho. The #1 residential destination in America for people who wish they could have killed Trayvon Martin. I'm hearing some ooh, is that, are you saying true? Is it true? Is that what you're saying? Yeah, what I said was true. I know that's messed up. The world is messed up. Things don't feel fair these days. Like, my girlfriend's a teacher, she told me this. Do you know about this? Kids in school these days, this is true, get 3 recess. 3, yeah? Every time, a wave of disbelief. 3 recess. How many did you get? 1, and you were lucky to have it. 3 recess. Some of you are like, why isn't he saying recesses? Because I didn't know there was a plural. The plural of recess, to me, is injustice. 3 recess. Who's in charge of these kids? Who's in charge of the school? Is it just another kid? That's how the principal is just a kid now? Just the richest kid gets to be in charge of the school? That's not how we pick public school personnel in this country. That's how we pick congressmen, ladies and gentlemen. My girlfriend's a teacher. She was like, it's good for them. It's good for these kids. It's good for them. Since when the fuck does that matter? When I was a kid, people would tell me things were good for me all the time, and that was gaslighting. Eat your vegetables. It's good for you. Go to bed. It's good for you. We're going to church. It's good for you. While you're there, you're going to talk to that nice priest, unsupervised, in a small room. I'm upset about the 3 recess. So I did what you do in America these days when you're upset. I went to the local school board to register my objection. Ladies and gentlemen of the board, I'm upset. I'm upset because these coastal elite educators seem to be allowing critical recess theory into our schools. They're like, sir, we dealt with this at our meeting last week. We already banned all the books with black characters. I was like, thank you. Wait, what? No, I didn't, I got caught up with something. All the other parents at the meeting are just like, yeah, fuck those books. The world doesn't need any more books. I was like, you kind of sound like my penis. That's from the earlier joke. It's hard to be a teacher these days. Budget cuts, protests. You can't even fuck the hot kids anymore. Not in Joe Biden's America. Another mandate from Sleepy Joe. Giving myself a sad claw job in the faculty parking lots. My girlfriend had a parent-teacher conference last year. Again, true story. Dad comes in, he goes, I'm glad my daughter's doing well, but I'm worried, I don't want her to get too smart, you know, I don't want her to grow up and join Antifa. It's true, setting aside the fact that that's not a real thing. Be like going to the mechanic and being like, yeah, fix it up, but not too good. I don't want it to start running like a liberal pussy. I want my daughter reading books, but not too many books. Otherwise she might grow up and have friends of color. Or worse, white women who say y'all. Ooh, Jesus Christ. In this house, our pronouns are the troops, all right? We're gonna go ahead and get the show started. You guys ready to get the motherfucking show started? I don't mean to get a high school gym teacher out here, but are you ready to get the show started? Alright, we have a great lineup of comics. I'm really excited. Again, thanks for coming out. You guys are a fabulous crowd. Our first comic, she is hilarious, she's great. I'm so glad we have her. Been trying to get her on this show since August of last year. Time has flown. She has a monthly comedy show in Rio Rancho, my favorite city in New Mexico. Never said a bad word about it. Actually, the next one is next Tuesday. It's at the Brew Lab 101, so check that out if you're interested. Please, everybody, a big warm welcome for the very funny Caryn Carson.
Hello, Santa Fe. As Tripp just told you, not only do I hang out in Rio Rancho, but my first name is Caryn. That's right, I'm a middle-aged white lady named Caryn. God, it's so hard being Caryn. What's your name? Jill, straight up Jill, all-American, everyone loves Jill. You don't want to be a Caryn in 2022, don't you? No, nobody does. It sucks. Here's the kicker though, guys. I'm not even Caryn with a K. No. I was born in the 70s and my parents are special. So I spell my name C-A-R-Y-N. So much different than Caryn with a K, am I right? But here's the thing, even though I'm Caryn with a C, I've learned a couple things about growing up with this name. Number one, my parents have been lying to me my entire life. They said I was born in a hospital. There's no way. I was born at the eye doctor's office. I can just see it now. My mom's sitting in the eye doctor chair. She pops out a baby. They're like, ma'am, what do you want to call your daughter? She groggily looks across the wall, finds that eye chart, hits that middle row. C-A-R-Y-N? Not enough vowels, but let's call that Caryn, okay? I've also learned your friends will still give you a hard time with Caryn with a C and a Y. We go shopping. It's always like, Caryn, you want to call the manager over? I'm like, bitch, I'm Caryn with a C. I am the manager of this Hobby Lobby. Scrapbook section. I know I kind of have that look of someone who knows her way around a Hobby Lobby. I know I have that look. You want to make a bird feeder out of a mason jar, a little gingham ribbon, and a cat intestine? Follow me to aisle 16. I got you. Here's the thing though, I don't actually make the crafts. No, that is beneath me, okay? I just like to buy those little pre-made Christian craptastrophes that you can buy down at the old lobby. And then I personalize them, before passing them off as my own. Like those rustic wooden boards with those homey or biblical expressions on them. Just get out a Sharpie, a big thick one, and revise them. Have them speak from your own heart, like I've got one. Live, laugh, liquor. Or stressed, blessed, and Ritalin obsessed. That's right. All you parents home, 3 inches of snow, 4 snow days. Yeah, Ritalin. That's what got us through. Or maybe you, like me, have this one. It's in the front doorway of my house. It says, as for me and my house, we shall serve the KFC. That's right, in my house we are preaching the gospel of the extra crispy. Oh my God. So good. That's a super silly joke. Okay. I know, and I'm just really glad to be here at Tumbleroot. I love comedy and breweries. I think New Mexico does it really well. We're 49 in education, #1 in comedy and breweries. That's right. Hell yeah, own it. Some people call that a tragedy. I call that priorities. Hell yeah. I love breweries because I think there's a lot of magic that happens here. I met the man of my dreams at a brewery in Albuquerque, New Mexico. Not the guy I came with, who I'm married to. But he was there. Oh, yeah. There's a brewery called La Reforma in Albuquerque. They make their own spirits, they have beer, not as good as here, still worth going to, because they have pollo asado. Don't make fun of my accent. Nachos, okay? Pollo asado nachos, they're delicious. We were eating them, but then we were rudely interrupted by the owner of La Reforma, and he's like, hey, we take our nachos very seriously here. Can't just put chips on a plate and pile a bunch of trash. You gotta layer them. You got your chips and your beans and your cheese, y la crema, and the chips and the beans. And I'm like, slow down. I'm flush at this point. I'm like, you had me at crema. It's like, tell me about your crema. I'll show you my crema. Keep talking about nachos. And in that moment, friends, I found out I find a man who has strong opinions about nachos very attractive. Very attractive. So you single guys sitting there, the banister at the back row, let me give you a tip. I'm going to speak for all the women in this room. We don't care about your hot takes on politics, okay? We don't care if you think the underdog Cincinnati Bengals are going to win the Super Bowl. They are, but we don't need you telling us that, Eli Manning, okay? But if you're a young man who has strong opinions about nachos, doors are going to open for you. Thank you. That's right. Am I right, Jill? Yes. Speaking of Eli Manning, you're like the Santa Fe Eli Manning lookalike, sir. That is amazing. Yeah, I know you guys were like, she said she was there with her husband. It's like I'm having like a sexual experience over nachos and my husband is sitting next to me. Does that make me a shitty wife? Yes, it does. But I own it. I'm happily married, but I still like to go out. In fact, I like to go out alone by myself on a Saturday night, see what kind of trouble I can get into. Eli Manning, where do the BOP people go in Santa Fe? Do you know? The VFA? The Veterans of Foreign Wars? Oh, that's the VFW. There's another place called VFA. Nice. I think actually y'all are a real good group here, very, very attractive group here at Tumbleroot. I personally, my speed is a few minutes south of here. It's a very nice hot spot. It's called Home Depot, okay? Have you been there, Club Depot, as I like to call it? You're looking like you're not believing me. After you go here, check out Club Depot, especially the women. Let me tell you, the male to female ratio at Club Depot, that is beautiful. And when I get off stage here and I try to get a drink at the bar, I'm not gonna have a single guy make eye contact with me. But if I go into Home Depot, I find a guy in an orange apron, we are making aggressive eye contact. Yes, we are. He's gotta talk to me. I keep asking him questions. I don't even care what the answers are. I just keep asking questions like, how long a hose do I really need? What is grout? Oh no. Or what's this rash on my leg? Do I need to get that checked out? That's right. And when I'm ready to dance, they got some nice wide aisles and all the overhead Coldplay and John Mayer a woman like me could want. Oh my God. And if Coldplay singing a sky full of stars doesn't make you want to bump and grind and fondle some socket wrenches, something is wrong with you. I also like Club Depot because of the VIP room. Some of you know it as the lumber section. I gotta tell you, I love the smell of lumber. Oh my God, all kinds of lumber. I love it. I love it. But mostly, I like the lumber section because like it's out in Santa Fe on Friday, Saturday night. I might be a 4 or a 5 at the lumber section. Oh, I'm a hard 11. I am. This right here is top quality meat. Oh, God. You know, it's Valentine's, kind of like a Valentine's Day show. I wore my red. It's about love. It's about finding love, keeping love. I gotta tell you, though, I am not sad that I'm dating anymore. Is anyone still out there on dating market? A couple of you. Eli Manning, you're off the market? Kind of. He's like, I'm too afraid to talk to that crazy lady. It's okay. That's okay. It's just, I gotta tell you, dating was hard, but we all have our stories. I'll share one. I once had a second date where the guy, he showed up to my apartment to pick me up and he was carrying a sweatshirt in one hand. And he said, Caryn, before we hit the town, you don't mind if we swing by Sam's Club so I can return this sweatshirt. I know, red flag, right? Nobody should be using the phrase hit the town anymore unless you're Magnum PI. Okay? Tom Selleck, he was not. But I'm a joiner. Off we went to Sam's Club. He returned his grimy sweatshirt. Before we left the giant warehouse club, he very casually turned to me and said, Caryn, you want to walk around and see if they have any food samples out? You guys know where this is going. Oh, and they did. We had like a little cube of Swiss cheese over here. We had like a single fried mozzarella stick. Then we had like a fraction of a microwave cheeseburger made by a lady named Judy. We had all of that. And before we got ready to leave, he very casually turned to me and said, so Caryn, what are you in the mood to eat now? Where do you want to go next? I had to confess, I had filled up on all those cheese samples. That's okay, Caryn. I'll just run you home now. Exactly, gas. He just took me home. Total time of that date, door to door, maybe 45 minutes. I'm not sure this nice couple in the front is understanding the gravity of the situation. Okay, on a second date, I was taken to a Sam's Club for free food samples. All right, she's caught up. We are all caught up. I like that. But here's my advice, guys. If that were to happen to you, male, female, whatever you are, my advice is run. Run to that man, okay? What do you call a guy who gets you cheese without paying for it? A provider. That guy is a keeper. But that rando guy who took me on a second date to a Sam's Club for free food samples, oh, I married that guy. Hell yeah! Locked him down. All right, that's my time. You're a great audience. I'm Caryn Carson.
Caryn Carson, everybody! She's my favorite Caryn. I want to apologize to Karyns, honestly. I feel like men are appropriating Caryn culture. Well, we all know the male version of a Caryn is called a Joe Rogan listener. Yeah, that's... All these musicians are pulling their music off of Spotify. I don't know how we feel about that. I don't want musicians to pull their music off of Spotify because I fucking need Spotify, okay? I'm not going back to iTunes. What am I, a fucking peasant? Speaking of Joe Rogan listeners, our next comic of the evening is not a Joe Rogan listener. Don't let appearances deceive you. He's hilarious. He's a local comic. Oh my God, you can catch him every Wednesday night here at Chili Lime Brewery in Santa Fe on Guadalupe. Very funny. He might look like a problematic man. And that's it. It's Phil Johnson, everybody!
All right, folks. It's nice to have you here. And you know, I know what you're all thinking. You're thinking, this guy looks like he's into gangster rap. You're right, I am. No, I love gangster rap, like early 90s gangster rap. Yeah. No, I love it because it's so relatable. Right? It is. It's tremendously relatable. I'm always pouring champagne on Lamborghinis. You know? But it has a very relatable aspect to it. Like it can relate to anything. Gangster rap can relate to honky-tonk country music. Like they're essentially the same thing. And anybody who likes either of them is like, no, they're not. Well, okay. I'm gonna give you the lyrics to a song, and you tell me if it's gangster rap or honky-tonk. So this song was inspired by somebody who loves their hometown dearly. And they tell you about their day. So they wake up in the morning and they put on very specific footwear. They kiss their mama because they love their mama. Then they walk out to the vehicle, which they describe to you, and proceed to say some problematic things about women's roles in society. Then they complain about how hard they have to work to move this particular crop. After they're done, then they call their producer the N-word. You know? Gangster rap or honky-tonk, you tell me. You gotta be careful though, you know, times are changing and not everything is kept up. So I'd like to take this time to talk to you about the Power Rangers. I don't know if you're familiar with the Power Rangers. It was a TV show in the early 90s based around your average group of 30-year-old junior high students who used the power of karate to do good and fight evil. Now, mostly the Power Rangers, it was a fashion show. Everybody was just all about their one color. They wore a spandex unitard of that color. And that's where they started to get into some problems, you know? Like the Yellow Ranger was Asian, and the Black Ranger was black. And I don't know, like the Pink Ranger did the splits all the time. The Blue Ranger, he was just really a big downer. He was morose, just so blue all the time. Oh, I guess we have to go fight guys in rubber suits. The Green Ranger, though, he was just green with envy over the diversity of all the other Rangers. And yet he was so green with envy that eventually he became the White Power Ranger. I don't know what he did, Bruce swastikas. But yeah, boy, the stuff that's in these TV shows, and for kids, like I was watching Scooby-Doo the other day. Everybody loves Scooby-Doo. And at the end, when they say, let's see who you really are, and they pull off the mask with the guy they've got tied up, I always thought that maybe that is who they really are. You know? On the weekends, they like to dress up like a Yeti and run around an old house. Maybe that's who they really are. And besides which, that's not illegal. I don't know how these kids are arresting this person. What was the phone call to the sheriff like? Hey, like, yikes, man. Me and my friends were smoking weed out in the van, and my dog thought he saw a ghost. So we broke into this house and tied someone up. Of course, the sheriff runs right over like, yeah, that's a weirdo. We don't need any of those around here. Yeah, but I do like kid stuff. I'm gonna be honest. Like I read a kid's book the other day. Good for me, I know. I read Green Eggs and Ham. You guys ever read that one? And I think it's about consent. You know, it should have been a really short book. One chapter, 4 pages. Like, hey man, you want some green eggs and ham? No. But this protagonist, this Samagan guy, like he's just got to push it, you know? It's like, oh, yeah, no, I know you said no, but like, oh, this is crazy. It's just a joke, but like, no, really, what if? And this is totally. But what if, like, maybe we took a boat ride? You know, and like there was a goat. Maybe we could ride the train in the rain. Would that put you in the mood for green eggs and ham? Sam I am. What is he, the budget Yoda? Eat green eggs and can. Eat green eggs and ham, you can. Huh? Sam I am. No, doesn't work. But there's no consequences for this guy. You know, he goes through with it. And I was thinking maybe it's the sing-songy rhyme that it's like a magic ticket. You can get away with anything if you just do a silly rhyme. Right? Officer, here's my license and registration. I can see from your face of great consternation. You took issue with the way I was driving so fast. Well, I assure you that's all in the past. I will drive so slow like they do in Bimbapado. When I'll stop 3 seconds when the lights turns blue. Sure, that's what I'll do. This ticket I can't afford to pay, so what do you say? Have a nice day. Yeah, you could use that for anything. If you didn't know what to say, like, sit down, Mr. Smith. I have some bad news. I've gone over your x-rays and deciphered the clues. Your cancer, it seems, is growing by 3s and by 2s. A treatment path, now you must choose. But to be frank, either way, you will lose. If you'd like a second opinion, I recommend Dr. Seuss. All right, folks, my name's been Phil Johnson. You've been lovely. Give yourself a big old hand.
Phil Johnson, everybody! Oh my God! We're just gonna keep it moving right along. Your next comic, another hilarious local, a Santa Fe comic. This is her first time at the Tumbleroot Showcase. Please make her feel welcome, everybody. It's Katherine Meirose.
Let me get this untangled. How is everyone tonight? Got a few drinks in you yet? Just stalling while I get this figured out. All right. Oh my goodness. There's quite a lot of you today. I'm so glad you guys found something to do on a Saturday night in Santa Fe. That's great. Most places seem to close at like 9 o'clock. I'm not used to that since moving here. Has anyone been a victim of conversations about NFTs recently? And I use that word specifically, victim, because I am always being talked at. You know what I mean? And I don't really understand it, to be honest. I don't have an inherent problem with it. I just don't care. And everyone who has an NFT seems to really want me to care. It's like, they were explaining it to me the other day, and they're like, "Has this totally unique JPEG. It's the like new investment opportunity, like Snoop Dogg, Paris Hilton, everyone has one." I'm like, "Yeah, that sounds like everyone. Everyone I care about." And I was like, "JPEG, huh?" I was like, "Now I'm no tech wizard, all right, but I've got a few unique JPEGs on my computer back home, like right now. No joke." No, they like put your name on a list so no one can steal it from you. It's like that. It's like, oh, okay. And you paid how many $1,000s for that? 2? All right, fair enough. And I wrote this joke actually about a week and a half ago, and I wrote it about a coworker of mine. He's a busboy. He's like 19. He's got braces, and he's always sucking the spit from between the brackets. If you know what I'm saying. You know exactly what I'm talking about. And he always stood a little bit too close to me, always. But he always talks to me about NFTs. But he actually quit his job a few days ago because he sold his NFT for $2 million. That's the kind of silence I expect, to be honest. That's how I felt. An NFT, I mean, fuck if I know. We're not gonna forget about it in a year. But I just feel like after I found out this busboy sold his NFT for $2 million, I was like, I feel like I would have been happier had I never heard this information ever in my life. Like, do you ever feel that way? Like, if I had not had this social interaction, I would probably be a happier person. And, like, that's why I've taken up scowling. Just everywhere I go. Like resting bitch face, like, just never did enough for me. I have to just take it up a notch. The mask, I have to do even extra. I do the nose scrunch, I do the brow. Think about picking up dog shit when I need some inspiration. And honestly, it just makes me think, I can't wait until I'm old. Like, I never thought I was gonna be old. I never thought I would be the age I was now, when I was like 10. I was like, 26, that bitch will be old. She'll probably be married with kids, and it's like, no, but I can't wait to be old because old people do not have to give a fuck. And to be honest, they've kind of earned it. I think about how much absolute fuckery I have dealt with in my relatively short life, how many bad days I have had, and like, if you do the math, your grandparents have suffered 3 times as much fuckery, assuming it occurs at a constant but steady rate. I'm no mathematician, all right? And they kind of deserved it. Like, I think about going over to my grandparents' house, and my grandpa would always sit in the same chair every time watching westerns he'd seen 100 times. And my grandma would be in the corner, like, baking something and talking. She'd be like, Miss Matheson, she didn't take communion at Mass the other day. I think she's having an affair. Isn't that right, Francis? And my grandpa would not even like move his eyes from the screen. He'd like be like, And my grandma would be like, that's what I'm saying. And on the ride home, my mom would be like, Grandpa was really talkative today, wasn't he? I mean, I long for that kind of lack of necessity to speak, But I mean, until I'm ancient, I guess I just have to fucking scowl all the time so people won't fucking talk to me. Oh my goodness, guys. Thank you so much for coming out. I'm not going to take up any more of your time. Let's bring it out to the next person. Thank you so much for being here. Give yourselves a round of applause.
Katherine Myrose, everybody. NFTs, I gotta be honest. People who say things like, I don't like NFTs. I don't get NFTs. NFTs seem stupid. Folks, that is how poor people talk. Listen. While NFTs are a scam, they're a Ponzi scheme. Only a fool would invest in them. Oh, really? Would a fool be honored with 3.5 seconds of digital eye contact with Mark Zuckerberg at an E-ceremony in my honor after I became the first human being to finger my own asshole in the metaverse? Does that sound like something a fool would do? That's true. I'm that guy, You can look it up. First person. If I'm being honest, I just overheard people talking about the value of digital assets, but I heard digital ass sex, and so that's a D+ pun, I know. But I'm worth $90 million, so fuck you. How about that? Guys, we're halfway through the show. You doing good? You still doing good? Hope you're having a good time? Yeah, all right, good. Yeah, we got 3 more hilarious comics for you. This next comic, we're lucky to have him. He's done comedy in Denver. He's another local. He's a Santa Fe guy. I think you're gonna like him. Please give it up for Miljen Aljinovic, everybody.
How you guys doing? My name's Miljen. That's a little weird, right? Yeah, just a little bit. My name is weird because I was born in Eastern Europe. And as a good Eastern European boy, a good little socialist, my parents taught me early on that Americans are obsessed with money. And I tried to give you guys the benefit of the doubt. And then I spent 30 years introducing myself to people. Hi, my name is Miljen. Oh, like $1 million? Million of anything. What the fuck is it with you people? Jesus Christ, pick it out, okay? Oh my God. No, it was nice. Like Tripp learned how to say both of my names, which are both super weird. I had a show up in Denver a couple of years ago where the dude like looked at my name on a list and said, "Yeah, no. Give it up for Sad Bob Ross." And that's a brand I can lean into super heavy, just being a sad little tree over here. Doesn't matter where, life is meaningless and decisions are futile, so let's get the nice thick wide brush, coated in black paint, just nice long strokes. We want to cover every molecule of light. Remember, there are no happy accidents except for the ones that end the howling void that is existence. That could go somewhere, right? Do you guys know that there's a Twitch channel that shows Bob Ross's old episodes 24/7? And a lot of the people who watch it are these kids who grew up on Twitch, and they have no idea that Bob Ross was like 25 years ago, and like that he's not around anymore. And so like they'll be in the chat like talking to each other, and then one of them will be like, "Hey Bob, you've gotten me through some really hard times. Look, I think I'm gay, and like my parents don't understand, and I can't talk to my friend." And then like a moderator has to come in and be like, "Hey, buddy, so Bob's been dead for 20 years. He invented what we do now on Twitch, but he can't hear you. I'm sure he would tell you if you're enjoying yourself and not hurting anybody. Just go right." Yeah, that's good. If you ever want to watch Bob Ross, just go on Twitch, and any time of day or night, trying to go to sleep, pop on a little Bob. So yeah, I'm from Eastern Europe. I was born in a place called Serbia. Most of you have never heard of it. Some of you are old enough, you watched CNN in the 90s, you might know what that's about. A couple of you maybe played Grand Theft Auto 4, "Hey cousin, you want to go bowling?" These guys in tracksuits smoking cigarettes, sitting like this, Genocide and human trafficking, but rude stereotypes about other places are fine. Like I said, you guys are all greedy. It's fine. So if you want to, the best analogy I've come up with for Serbia for Americans is think of it kind of like the Alabama of Europe. It's in the southeast. It's shaped about the same. Right in the middle, there's a big ass city full of museums and culture and really like interesting, smart people. And then you go like an hour in any direction. It's like going 100 years back in time. There's people with like moonshine stills in their backyards, and they make amazing food, roasting whole animals. Like we've got goats, you've got pigs. We've got cabbage, you've got collard greens. It's all the same. They're really nice to your face if you look like them. Like that's the thing. It's like where I come from. It's like the most closed-minded xenophobes on the planet. People where I'm from are so racist. We're all white, and we still found a way to murder each other every 50 years since the fucking Romans showed up, okay? Like, that's the kind of tribalism. It's sad. My home country was destroyed by a genocide, but at least it wasn't built on one like some fucking people I know. You guys are a smart crowd. That only works some of the time. You guys read books and shit. That's cool. I like you guys. Living in America, like my parents, a lot of the struggle over there was over religions, and they're both atheists, so they were like, we got to get out of here and go somewhere where this kind of thing could never possibly happen again. And it's great. Living in America is kind of like watching The Lion King with someone who's never seen The Lion King. And like it's that scene with Simba and Mufasa, and they're having a great time. "I love you, Dad," and they don't know. They're just sitting there like, it's cool, it's coming. I know. No, well, growing up in America has been weird. Like I never really fit in as a kid. It was hard for me. And so at this point, my preferred pronouns are we and us. You know, just so I can feel like I'm a part of something for like a minute. I don't know, man. The first time I found my people, like the first time I really fit in, was when I discovered weed. When I started smoking weed in high school, that was it for me. I found my people, I found movies and books and music and stuff, and then it became legal, and all that, like the whole culture just went straight down the. Oh, it was bad. I felt like, first time I went into like a legal weed shop, I felt like one of those punks or goths, you know, from the 80s, the kids that would like pierce their ears with safety pins and shit. First time they saw like a Hot Topic. The fuck is this? You took my culture, you took everything that was ever mine and reduced it down to like, if an Apple store listened to Sublime too many days in a row, and like a terrible transformation under the light of the full moon. It was, yeah. The worst thing about legal weed is now I don't know anyone who sells mushrooms anymore. Like if I want to go camping, I have to deal with actual criminals, or worse yet, deadheads. Guys, the Grateful Dead is the equivalent of if someone came up here tonight and just told you setups for like their entire set. Like no punchlines, just half a joke after half a joke. Yeah, somebody's with me, I like it. Oh yeah. Weed culture, man. I work at an RV park now, out on the end of town. It's actually pretty cool. The customers are a little, they're mostly, like, it's a luxury RV park. It's like for tourists and stuff. It's not for like permanent residents, right? So it's all these people from the Midwest, like a bunch of people whose families failed at the Oregon Trail 200 years ago. Like they got halfway, right? They got to Kansas, you know what I'm going, right? They got to Nebraska, Jebediah died of dysentery, and they're like, well, we're from Nebraska now. They're doomed now to wander the western half of the United States in these land yachts. These giant, like, 40-foot versions of those old Conestoga wagons with little embroidered steering wheel covers that say, drive like no one else is driving. They come here and then they come to the park, they come in the office and they argue with me for 5 minutes about having to wear a mask. And then they're like, well, now that we're in Santa Fe, what would you do? I was like, well, I thought you motherfuckers did your own research. What would happen to that? And I just, like, come on. Read a book. No, I've developed my own personal euphemism for these situations. When somebody's just going on and on and on, the way I end drive safe. What it really means is I'm fucking done listening to you. You're quiet now. Drive safe. But it backfired on me. I said it like I was late to work a couple weeks ago, and I texted my coworker like, "Hey, I'll be there about 15." She's like, "Okay, drive safe." How could you? Why would you say that? It's just 15 minutes. Why would you wish all of that horror on me? Like, because that's the thing. I'm not a good person. I've learned that about myself. I tried it. Like, I'm spending all of my energy just maintaining a benign asshole. You know, like I'm not ruining anyone's day actively, but it's here. It's all right. I know in my head that it's wrong to wish suffering and pain on other people, and like to laugh when people don't get vaccinated and then die of COVID. But the heart wants what the heart wants. Right? I call it being chaotic woke. You know what I mean? Like it's on the border there. I do. Look, I'm a very judgmental person. That's true. Very judgmental. In my defense, I have excellent judgment. So, if I was ever wrong, I don't know. Just to prove that that's all bullshit, by the way. That is bullshit. I'm not that smart. I was in a long-distance relationship for like 2 years. We were in a long-distance relationship. We wanted to make it a short-distance relationship, and the distance just kept getting shorter and shorter until the relationship just vanished into thin air. Like, we talked about moving in together one time and just stopped having sex. You know what I mean? I knew we were doomed. We were having this argument, and she was like, "You don't even want a girlfriend, do you? You just want like a best friend you can have sex with all the time." And I was like, "Oh, yes, thank you. That's exactly what." Wait, what are you saying? What's going on here? Oh God. Yeah, no, she was a very beautiful person. She cared a lot about her appearance, which when we were together extended to my appearance, and it was like the best I could do. The only reason I know it's time for a haircut is because people have started making jokes about Home Alone around me again. That's fine. I'll take that. I'll take Marv, the funnier of the wet bandits, over Napoleon Dynamite, like when I was 18, you know? Like, that's a glow up right there, in case you didn't know. Yeah, man. I have ADD. I thought for most of my life, because when you're a kid and people tell you you're smart, you start believing it, you know, you start thinking you're smarter than most people. Turns out I have ADD. What that means is I think more than most people. Doesn't do anybody any good. Especially me. I also smoke a lot of weed, makes me very lazy, so like, I sit around and think of problems that there are no solutions for, and solutions for problems no one has. You know what I'm saying? Imagine how incredibly obnoxious John Lennon would be on Twitter if he was alive today. It's easy if you try. That kind of thing. You know that song, Rock You Like a Hurricane? Does it hit you any differently if you know the guy who wrote it is named Rudolph? Nobody named Rudolph has ever rocked anyone like any kind of weather pattern at all. Like a mild spring breeze. Rudolph will rock you around the Christmas tree if you behave yourself, I guess. Like that's about as hot as he gets. Yeah, man. I think about the volcano under Yellowstone a lot. You guys think about that? There's a giant super volcano under Yellowstone, might kill us all at any minute. It's like 100 years overdue to blow up, and it's gonna blow up like half the hemisphere. And so, like, you know, I looked it up and I was like, well, what's gonna happen? There's this thing called the primary blast zone, where everybody dies instantly, right? We don't live there. We live in the primary ash zone, where for like 3 or 5 days we're all gonna choke on molten ash falling from the sky. It's gonna be great. Yeah, awful, right? And I was like, man, where's the primary blast zone? Like maybe I should just live there, you know, just make it. I looked it up. Wyoming and like part of Montana. So I'll take my chances with 3 to 5 days of choking on molten ash, as opposed to living in Wyoming for any fucking amount of time at all. You know the speed limit there is 85, because they know how fucking fast you're trying to get out of their state? That's what it's the last of the American states, alphabetically and in every other regard. It's the worst place in the world. Oh man, we were just before the show. We were gonna go smoke a joint because we're all degenerates, and Katherine was like, "I know this great place. We can just go right outside this door by the green room. It'll be great. It's a kind of little private smoking spot." We opened the door and we're just like standing on the freeway in front of the fucking building smoking a joint. I'm like, "Hey, should we? Is the door gonna lock behind us?" No, it'll be fine. Click. Fucking potheads, man. I went for a hike like a week ago. I was just climbing up like Picacho Peak, you know, it's right there. It's like 20 minutes, you get to this great overlook bluff, and it's winter, so there's nobody up there, right? I'm just gonna go for a walk by myself, roll a little joint. I got most of the way there, and I'm just coming up on the turn, and I was like, there's no mirror, I'm gonna light this joint. Take a nice big hit, and I turned the corner, there's a guy sitting right there. So I tried to do this thing where I like don't blow it downwind from him. But then I noticed this motherfucker's over here like trying to blow in the other. Man, you're doing the same thing and it was great. Like we met, we hung out, it was, hi, my name's Pat. Oh, hi, my name's Miljen. Oh, like $1 million? You son of a... No, it's okay, everybody gets one, right? I gave Pat a slide, we sat there, we smoked our joints, and we hung out for a few more minutes, and he gets up to leave, right? And there's a little slippery patch right there, and his foot slides off the edge, and he's got a backpack on, and momentum was just taking him. You know, it's like a 100-foot drop. And I didn't even think about it, my arm just went out. And like, I'm holding him off this edge, and you know, he almost takes me with him, and I pull him back, and he gets his footing. He gets back up, and we sit down, and we're panting. Very intense, and we made eye contact. He's like, thanks, Miljen. And I saw him, and I was like, don't you fucking do it. Thanks $1 million. I shook him off the fucking cliff. My name's Miljen. Give it up for Tripp and all the other comics. They're a wonderful crowd.
Miljen Aljinovic, everybody! Thanks a bunch. Thanks a bunch is what we say to him. So we say, Miljen is the fucking highest energy stoner I've ever seen. That was him on like 10,000 milligrams. You have no idea. He took an upper once, and a month later, Serbia was a democracy. It was amazing. We got 2 more comics for you guys tonight. Coming up next, your penultimate comic. I think I used the upper one. How do you introduce a guy like this? He's one of a kind. He's unique. He's a shaman. He's a prophet. He's like a prophet you meet in a dumpster. I don't know. Is that? I hear the people laughing who know him. Yeah. The rest of you are about to learn. It's the great Ryan Lawless, everybody.
I'm gonna take this. Wow. All right. Hey, everybody. Welcome. Well, it's that time again where we ask people if you're on a date. Now, if you're like me, you say this: every day is a date. That's why we have calendars, so you can keep track of that. Aren't you on a date? Maybe you forgot. I'm still single though, yeah. Last thing I turned on, she's laughing. Can you guess what it was? The shower. Because that's how it works. I mean, you can ask, if you're single, you kind of do it with your tears too, but you know. I actually did go on a date a while back, and she knew I was a comedian, so she wanted to hear a joke. She liked bad dad jokes. I took that a little too literal. I said, stay woke with me. Your dad is so gay. He sucks dick. Didn't work. But I'm trying new things, you know? Yeah, that's right. I'm trying cauliflower. Ah. Yeah? It's not calling me back. It's not the right vegetable for me. Yeah, though, it's kind of hard though, like when you're trying to catch a date and people look at you funny, especially in like the grocery store line, you know, when you're charged for salt and battery. Not like, you know, the bad kind, but like just like one packet of salt. And Whole Foods can do it. You should go check it out. Anyways, I wanted to like kind of start here, but I just ended it with this one. That's how I switch it up, keep you guys in the loop. Someone called me a Valentine's Day baby, and it was after like they asked me what was my birthday, and if you can do the math, we kind of figured it out. Yeah, and I was like, well, that's just sort of disgusting. Why'd you tell me that? Because apparently it just it clarified that my parents fucked on Valentine's Day to have me in November. So that's the math part. And I kind of took that too like serious, and I was like, well, at least I'm not a mistake, baby. Because that's what I felt like. I gotta tell my parents they don't know math. Anyways, the last time I was here, I was recently fired from a pizza job. Ha! Joke's on you. I like that pizza job. But they gave me an ultimatum, right? They're like, Ryan, you can only keep this job if you don't do comedy. Right, exactly. Well, as you see, I chose this answer. Was it good? Alright, thank you. Hell yeah. That's what makes it worth it. Yeah, but I'm stuck in, I'm stuck in a little bit of I'm stuck in a little bit of a time where you gotta get like, interviews and stuff like that, and they ask like some weird questions, right? And it's kind of weird, especially like when they just like, they're not worth your time. This lady asked me, what is your 5-year goal? And I said, to learn how to read. I mean, to read more. Now, but I'm stressed, and caught me off guard with that one. Anyways, she asked me the next question, and hold on, pause. A friend told me that I wasn't doing enough crowd participation, so I'm going to practice this one. That's right. A little bit more there. That's like a cut shot to the people who are just frightened. Crowd participation. Anyways, where was I? Interviews. So yeah, she asked me the next question was, hey, do you have a dream job? And I said, well, I don't typically dream of a 9 to 5. I call those work mares that you don't get paid for. Right? That's exactly what those are. I am trying. She's trying to wish me good luck, though, right? She was just like, well, good luck, and they're trying to achieve new feats. I also took that way too literal. So I said, do you mean I should cut mine off? Like my 2 feet? All right. I didn't get that one. I didn't get that one either. Instead, I just do it anyways. I am trying to try to work harder though. I try to create my own jobs, and I was interested in locksmithing, right? And I was like, well, what's a good name for this business? I should use my last name, Lawless Locksmithing. Pause. I know what you're thinking. I get a lot of clientele. I don't know. Anyways, I didn't know how to end that joke right there, so I was just freestyling it. And where was I? What was I just talking about? I'm gonna bust out my notes. Locksmith. Oh yeah, locksmith. Right. Apparently, the good sort of job I should have, though, or I could create for myself, is a bail bond agent, or a bail bond man. And so using my last name and all, right, it'd be like Lawless bail bond. Call 1-800-LAWLESS. I can set you free for a fee. So that's how that's working. But I do have a job right now. The other day, the boss man was trying to ask me, hey, why are you late? And I said, rush hour. And he said, really? That's understandable. Traffic was bad. And I said, no. Chris Tucker. Jackie Chan. They're an ultimate duo. Right? You wanna stay for the sequel? I would. So these are some things I feel like you should have said to someone who just currently lost their job, which I did hear about, and I heard from just different people. But someone told me you should just take a vacation. Nah. Did I tell you I just lost my job? How is that supposed to work? You need money to take a vacation. All right, that didn't work. Anyways, then the other one, he told me, hey man, you should just act like you didn't get fired. Never heard, you've heard that crazy fucker before. He said, yeah, just go back to work and act like you didn't get fired. And I was like, holy shit, that's some shaggy advice right there. I got fired yesterday, it wasn't you. I will give that a shot. It wasn't you. I'm not fired anymore because it wasn't me. Anyways, you just heard a love bit and a career bit right there. Moving on to my one-liner bits. Hey, page 2. guys gotta give me more than that. I've been doing like 5 minutes, right? Alright, cool. Thank you. It's very hard to work in such dryness sometimes. How can you tell if someone's on TikTok? They are wearing a watch. That's right. Because that's how you keep time. It turns out you do not need to talk to a doctor for a prescription for prescribed burns. Firemen handle that. I still don't understand it though. I just thought I should ask. Alright. Okay, that was a killer joke right there. I know. You didn't get that one? I didn't get it either. Okay. Hey, they say anything that will go bad can go bad. That's Murphy's Law. I might have fucked that up, but you know what I mean, right? Right. That sounds more like coleslaw, though. Because that is horrible each and every time. I don't want it. Because I know it's going to go bad. Some people will say, hey, do you got any jokes about cows? And I say, you mean roast beef? The other day, this is for you, Caryn. Thank you for coming. Give it up, Caryn. The other day, I went to a pool hall and got kicked out. Why? You ask? We're wearing arm floaties. It was apparently not the pool hall I was looking for. When someone's in the elevator with me, they ask me, they're sometimes like, hey, what floor are you going to? And I say, space. They're like, what? And I'm like, yeah, the star button. And they're like, you mean the first floor? You mean? I'm like, yeah, one galaxy, of course. I don't know. This kind of makes me think about God every once in a while because I'm up here on stage and I'm doing this thing called comedy. But you think God has godparents? Because we might figure out why he's so fucked up. Yeah. You guys think Batman played baseball? Or was he just a bat boy? He probably was. Probably was. You know, oh shit, man. I'm getting really nervous. I'm gonna look through my notes again. I'm here though. Okay. The person asked me, hey, I told the person I quit eating cereal, and he asked me why. And I told him, as a kid, because there's a lot of serial killers on loose. And that's how you stop them. I fucked that joke up, I think, a little bit. Just a little bit. I do have a couple, I do dreams where like I'm dreaming about some things that will never happen, like interviewing celebrities. And I always think about this, like when I get to interview Reese Witherspoon, I get to ask her about what is the actual size of a Reese Witherspoon for baking concerns. Yeah. Also, Lauren Fishburne, do you like your food cooked burnt or just black seasoned? Seasoned black. I don't know. I fucked that one up too. God damn it. You know, sometimes when I have to go to the grocery store, you have to have like the crosswalk, you have to let people cross in front of you, right? And they was kind of like waving, like, hey, thanks for letting me do that. And then I roll down the window as I'm gonna give a good gesture, and I say, I'll get you next time. Yeah. And then I got you. And then and then usually there's a sign down in the neighborhood that says, "Slow down, children are playing." And I never see any children there. So I think that's a sign that's being wasted for reading. And I want a sign that says, "Slow down, children are dying in Africa." Donate to this website, waywardcomedy.com. My name is Ryan Lawless. That's my time. Thank you.
And I'll do that one. Yeah. Ryan Lawless, everybody! Oh! You guys, and I know I'm pandering, and you know I'm pandering, are such a good fucking crowd. Are you ready for your last comic of the night? Yeah. We're lucky to have him. This dude tours all around the Southwest. He's opened up for Steve-O, Chris Kattan, a bunch of other comics you've heard of that I'm forgetting their names right now. He's hilarious, guys. We're lucky to have him. He's a headliner. He kills it in Albuquerque. Zach Abeyta, everybody.
Santa Fe Tumbleroot, what's up, guys? How you doing tonight? Goodness, look at y'all. Packed out room. I'm actually born in Santa Fe. Obviously, it looks like I'm wearing Santa Fe high school colors right now. Demons, whatever. I actually love Santa Fe. Tomasitas, the shed downtown. You already know what's up. We'll keep it old school. PCs off Airport Road for you guys right here. My man right here. My pops is from here, man. I love Santa Fe, but I grew up in Albuquerque all my life. Anybody go to Albuquerque often? Where's my Albuquerque Vastos at? I see you, alright. A couple of balloon fiesta freaks right here. I see you all. I love Santa Fe, man. I could have grew up here, got a good job selling fake turquoise downtown. But I grew up in Albuquerque, so now I just know how to break into like apartments with a credit card. Good trade, but I love Albuquerque, man. I grew up in the North Valley. That's the funny part. The North Valley is like weird parts of Santa Fe. There's like nice pockets, and then a hood-ass family right around the corner. There's my auntie right around there. There she is. I love the valley because you'll walk up to an intimidating ass vato, and they have the most confusing outfit you've ever seen in your life. This dude will be wearing dress slacks, Nike Cortez, a tank top, and a fedora with a feather in it. You're like, where are you going, bro? Are you going to a CrossFit class or a business meeting? Sir, let's tighten this outfit up, brother. Looking like a human version of Spy versus Spy out here. My favorite though is like the happy vato downtown. You'll see this guy and lock eyes with him and just feel the joy in his soul. Just. Orale, mommy, I see you masked up or whatever. Fuck, safety first. It's my favorite shit. You'll just see a dude in the bus stop just. Like, bro, you're in Old Town by yourself right now. What is going on right now? Do I need to start breakdance battling you, sir? What are we doing? I told this dude in Albuquerque the other day that I grow weed for dispensaries, and he lost his mind and his soul exploded in front of me. First of all, give it up for us getting recreational cannabis finally in New Mexico, man. Shit. I'm tired of those drives to Trinidad, so just everyone was like, fuck, I'm not in Trinidad for anything else, I promise. Last time I went to Denver, I threw a bag of green chili. I said, smoke that, bitch, seeds and all, little shit. I told this dude I grow weed for dispensaries, and his soul just exploded in Albuquerque. I was like, yeah, bro, pandemic's been wild. Everybody's been ordering weed for the quarantine. He's like, what, bro? You work for dispensaries, I said? I fucking love weed, brother. Nah, I promise, I used to grow with my grandpa way up in Pecos. We used to be watering plants, me and my little abuelito just... Like, bro, what is going on right now? Do I bring dance battle you right here? Are we cheerleading? What is happening? Most flexible comedian in New Mexico, 5 years running. Saturday, let's go. Beat out old man Whitaker 2 years in a row. Screw that guy. I love actually New Mexico. It's my favorite shit. I love our beautiful women here, our beautiful Latina ladies. Give it up for our Latino women in New Mexico. Goodness. I take it all, even if they're gangster. I don't give a shit. Lip liner, no lipstick. They give you a kiss on the neck. It looks like you have a ringworm. You're just on the WebMD. Just what did this Chicana girl give me? Guadalupe shirt from the state fair. I don't know what that means. Just hoop earrings so big they can double as a spare tire rim. I'll jump right through them like Michael Phelps. Just, I don't give a shit, girl. I'll be outside the Tumbleroot like Sonic the Hedgehog, just collecting rooms. Ding, 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 ding. Some old school Sonic players, I see you. I love, this is the thing though, when that makeup comes off at the end of the night, you're in for a surprise. Sharpie eyebrows just disappear. Eyelashes float to the ground like the saddest death of a butterfly. Just... All of a sudden, Lord Voldemort from Harry Potter walks out of the bathroom looking at you just... Harry. You're like, what happened to your eyebrows, girl? You got those 15 minutes ago. Reach for anything like it's a wand to grab a pen, just... Leviosa, girl, get out of my room. She's like, don't call me Leviosa, it's my cousin's name. I don't want to get it twisted up. You gotta go take pictures later at the Santa Fe malls, bro. Like Marcus. I fucking love Santa Fe, man. Give it up one more time. Look at this live comedy you guys got in Little City. I do comedy in Albuquerque all week long, and it's just like 3 dudes in cowboy jerseys just flipping you off. Fuck you, bro. Just a lowrider in the show. You're like, what the fuck is going on? We tighten it up. I actually just recently started dating last year for the first time. I got out of a 7-year relationship, started dating in the pandemic, so give it up for trying that shit. That was tough. I don't know if this is just an Albuquerque thing or like a new thing, but every girl's a witch all of a sudden. Like, that's like the trendy thing. They're all witches and then do hair on the side. How does that work out? How is your real job your side job? She's like, I don't know, I cast spells for a living, but if you want highlights, hit me up at Abeyta. I was like, what? Growing up in New Mexico, like all girls were Catholic when I was growing up. Now all girls read tarot cards for a pastime. There's 3 girls right now with cards, like I'll read you right now, bitch, I'll get your shit. I didn't know how that shit worked. I was on a date last year, a girl wanted to read my tarot cards. I thought we were playing blackjack. I was like, well, hit me with a card, girl. It's like, that's not how this works. This is your lifeline. I'm like, no, I know the rules. 21, you bust, I get it. It's like, no, this is serious, mister, for real. I'm like, give me the card, girl. She's like, you got the death card, you busted on life. I was like, what? Swipe out of this Zoom date real quick. I actually just took my chances. Like, I just dodged a bullet. I got out of a relationship, like, right after my birthday in September, and I dodged a bullet, so let me tell you that story. I tried dating a girl that was way different from witches, a girl from Las Vegas, New Mexico. I get the laughs every time I just say that, and y'all didn't warn me that they're messed up out there in these small towns. Y'all should be like, don't date Las Vegas girls, Espanola girls, Roswell girls. That's my demographic though, that's what I hit with. This girl was wild, bro. I didn't know. Have you ever dated someone so beautiful, first of all, you just ski past red flags? I didn't even run past them. I was straight on the mountain, just. I did a jump over one of her flags. I 360'd over one of them. I didn't see shit. I didn't want to see none of the bad stuff. She was so bad too, and I didn't realize until like our 3rd date, she was on the right side of politics pretty intensely. Yeah, I made her a nice steak dinner, asparagus, red wine. She put the steak knife I gave her to the side and pulled out a Trump 2020 switchblade. I was like, oh shit, oh shit, oh shit, oh shit. What do I do? What do I do? More red wine. She likes the red wine. I don't know. My ankles are showing right now. I'm not a guy's guy. Like, what do I do with that? Look at that. Bam. Ankle cleavage. Ladies, what's up? That's what GQ magazine says anyway. Issue 43, episode 2. And ma'am, I do have feelings, so if you look up here, I would really appreciate that. This girl was wild, man. Las Vegas chick. I hated, this is the thing in New Mexico. She fished and stuff, but every guy in New Mexico was like, bro, My girlfriend could cut a fish, bro. She could clean a fish, eh? I'm like, Steve, you don't even fish, dog. You don't even own a boat. You've never been to Pecos or Elephant Butte, dog. What are you talking about? She could cut a fish, though, bro. She's a real one, dog. She was different, man. She carried a gun around. She used to. This guy looked like you laughed too hard at that, sir. You better want to check out for this guy. I see you, Mr. Clean. She used to want me to carry her gun around on Central and Albuquerque after shows. First of all, I come from a family of felons. We can't even have guns where I come from. For real. She handed me her gun. I was like, why does your gun have numbers on it? What do those stand for? Is this a collector's edition or what does that mean? I was like, my dad even used to scratch the numbers off my super soakers where I'm from. We're really with it. I'm not getting in no trouble in Mrs. Torres' second grade class. The gun, man. She did break up with me, like I said, the morning after my birthday. I didn't know I would just catch a release just like that. Just right back in the Rio Grande. It's good though, you learn shit about people that didn't work out. Like we were so different, like I'm such a hip hop head, I'm a b-boy. She was a country girl, she was wholesome. We'd go two-stepping. If she shook her ass, I couldn't touch it, wholesome. But then you learn shit, man. I broke up with her and like 3 months later, this girl was like, you were dating that stripper, weren't you? It's like, what do you mean? She's like, that girl that you were dating, the Jesus freak? She was a stripper at Fantasy Room for like 4 years. So now that makes sense why every time she had to shake her ass, I wasn't allowed to touch it unless I tipped her, so. Santa Fe, give it up for y'all one more time. Standing room, look at y'all. Standing for jokes? Standing for jokes together? I'm so happy to be out the house, man. About a month ago, I got over Corona, and that shit sucked. I just hate being in the house. I watched it all. All the serial killer documentaries. All girls, or all ladies into serial killers right now, what's up with that? Yeah, these ladies love it. She's like, I am. If you don't got a machete in your trunk, I'm not about it. Just, you got tear gas, then I'm not coming. Just, I watched them all, too. My favorite one, hands down, was Night Stalker, Richard Ramirez. This is why, because the hood took him down. White people were slipping when it comes to serial killers. They had Ted Bundy arrested. There was like a body hanging out of the trunk, just... Here's an arms, Like, Ted, what's that in your trunk, bud? Spare tire. Seems legit, go ahead. Not the hood, yo. We didn't even know it was Richard Ramirez and we fucking beat him up. We were like, it was like me and Mr. Clean, my grandpa right here. We're like, you know what, eh? That fool over there kinda looks like the Night Stalker. Let's fuck him up just because, bro, he messes with old ladies, dog. I'm not with it. Let's not, bro, let's just fucking... Before you know it, they had the whole hood on his ass. They had the paleta man chasing them down with a paleta car. Just Oreo cream, just... Nana was there with her chihuahua on her shoulder, just fucking... I watched all 10 Harry Potter movies at once. I went through that shit. Sorting had it all. Ravenclaw, obviously super smart. Any Harry Potter fans? I see you, bro. I see you fucking Gryffindor with it. Some Slytherin in the back. Chill out. We know what you guys are up to. He's like, not me, bro. Hufflepuff. I really watched all 10 Harry Potter movies, and at the end I was pissed. I realized one thing. There's not one Hispanic wizard in the whole series. Look, there's kids from all over the world. Russians, Yugoslavs. They have beautiful Asian women with British accents. That's pretty magical right off the top. But not one Hispanic wizard, we make the best friends. Let me prove it to you right now. Old school for you, boss, Cheech and Chong. Got you guys right here, Pedro and Napoleon Dynamite. The young couple, Dora and Boots. I think Boots is Hispanic, we'll give him a pass. Not one Hispanic, 12 gingers in the same family, not one Hispanic wizard. Twin gingers. Twingers. No, it'd be the best scene in all the Gryffindor common room if you bust out, just fucking... Fuck Voldemort, Harry, you ain't even afraid to say his name, you know what's up, I always do this. He'd be the only wizard just with a top button on his robe button. And like a Raiders jersey under. Be like, Harry dog, I'm Gryffindor for life, but I can never leave my Raiders gear at home. You know, what's up, dog? What's up, Dobie? What's up? Only Vato ever in London at platform 9 3/4 with a pit bull and a lowrider bike. Just. What's up, girl? I'm in London for the weekend. Let's kick it. Come here, and don't embarrass me. Just walk through the wall. Just. Hermione's right away giving him shit. Just. That's not a real house pet one. He's like, my bad, it's just a big rat. I messed up on my first potions class. Matter of fact, take this magical herb I took from Professor Snape to get rid of that. No, it's red. We don't even need the goblet of fire. $40, meet me in the back. Just. He'd walk up to Harry Potter right before the last battle. He'd just be like, Harry dog, check this out, eh? I whittled down my wand into a shank, bro. If I get close enough to Voldemort, bro, we're just gonna stab him a few times and fucking just. He's like, damn, I forgot it, though. Let me get it from the comment room. Vatos will skip at Albuquerque for any reason. What'd you say, bro? Lowrider show? I'm fucking there, dog. Comedy at Tumbleroot? Fucking with it, brother. Love Saturday Vatos. This is my favorite shit. The end credits of that Harry Potter movie would definitely just be that one Vato riding around the school in a lowrider broom. Just the only one ever invented. It just hits 1 foot off the ground and goes 2 miles per hour. Just. Hey, check it out. My uncle from Espanola helped me put hydraulics in it. Hey, check it out. I did that show in a military base last month in front of like 200 troops. And at the end I said, this is messed up, guys. There's no Hispanic wizards. What am I gonna be for Halloween this year? A lieutenant stood up in the front row, looked at me and said, Harry Puto. Yo, I want to give a special shout out Santa Fe. My dad's actually in the building. Pops, come up to like the camera. Yo, get bro. My dad comes out to all my shows. And he's a wild dude. Where you at, Pops? He's a wild dude. There he is. Give it up for my Pops right there, y'all. Yes. That's a real Santa Fe Vato right there. Boys Club and all. You can't really see my dad right now, but he has the wildest style. He has like black ripped skinny jeans, Doc Martens, like 12 rings on his finger. He looked like he opened up for Leonard Skinner right before he came here. Just. My dad just looks like a suicide girl just summoned him out of a Ouija board. Just. Give me a sugar daddy, give me a sugar. My dad just pops out with red contacts in his eyes. So. My dad comes to all my shows though, and I'm gonna wrap up with a story about like the weird shit he used to do with me. My dad, when I was a kid, used to take me to all the Santa Fe places. He used to take me to 10,000 Waves. Where are those freaks at? Where's the old school 10,000 Waves people go? And I know you are, Mr. King. He owns it. He's like, every weekend, communal tub. I don't have shorts on. For real, when I was growing up, that shit was swimsuit optional at 10,000 Waves. My dad was a bodybuilder. He was used to showing it off and down to. I was 9 years old. I was not down to show it off at 10,000 Waves. And I'd ask my dad, like, Pops, can I wear swim trunks to the 10,000 Waves place? And he'd look at me and be like, you're just a little boy, eh? No one's gonna get your little pee-pee dog. My dad for real talks like that, no exaggeration. He says that northern New Mexico 3 B's. Bro, batter, and burly. Not barely, burly. And he weaves them into every sentence. He showed up tonight, he's like, bro, I'm sorry I barely made it to your show, eh? But it's all good, dog. I was on Olafia and I saw this Camaro SS. It was better than full, dog. And that just gives me so much eyebrows at everything he says. My dad used to take me to the 10,000 Waves place and I showed my little pee-pee. The last time I went wasn't that long ago. We went like right before the pandemic. We were snowboarding and out of nowhere he's like, bro, Let's hit the waves for old time's sake, eh? I was like, what do you mean? Dog, we just finished snowboarding. I don't have swim trunks for that. He's like, what, you still afraid to show your little pee-pee or what? I said, fuck, man, I'm already 30 years old. I can't my dad keep embarrassing me like this? Fuck it, let's go, bro. I'm getting the expensive green tea, a robe, I'm doing it up. Just, and like, if you've been there, you know, it's just 8 or 9 older people, real hippie, just real Nat Geo, real low and loose. I saw a lot of weird piercings when I was a kid there at 9 years old. Just, what is that, Dad? Don't even look. Don't even look. But real quick, that's what happened. That's a labia. I'm like, no, Dad, I don't even know. And my dad will be fully naked in the sauna, just no shame. That day he was in the sauna fully stretching it out, just naked as fuck, just and he's talking to everyone. He's like, you go skiing today too? Lots of powder up there, huh? Good runs, good run. I'm like, I'm so embarrassed by that shit. I go outside where there's the jacuzzi, the hot, like the cold plunge. I'm doing that little cycle, right? Jacuzzi, cold plunge, back in the sauna. My dad's doing even more ridiculous stretches. He's like, no, I'm from Santa Fe. I lived here my whole life. No, Santa Fe High. I'm so embarrassed. I go outside, and like the third time I walk out, there's a new group of people. There's like 10 college kids, all in their swim trunks. It's like this table fucking right. Flashbacks to this table. Just good hair, solid muscles. This guy's jacket split right down the middle, just like our country. Just they were all in their swimsuits. Reminded I was butt naked walking out of there. But I'm walking out of the sauna, I'm doing as best as I can do. I'm low and loose, I'm mass flaps. But I can't just get in the jacuzzi with 10 college kids. That's a weird move. So I had to opt out for the cold plunge. As soon as I jumped in that thing, my dick just disappeared. I just hopped in just... I waited as long as I could, 12 and a half seconds. And I got out. My dad happens to walk out for the first time. Dad dick just swinging in the wind, by the way. He's knocking water bottles off of ledges. This kid reached back, thought it was his Camelback hose. I was like, chill out, that's it. My pops locks eyes with me and goes, fuck, Gabe. Now I see why you've been afraid to show your little pee-pee this whole time. My shit disappeared. It looked like a magic trick. It looked like Chris Angel, David Blaine, and Harry Potter all showed up at once to fuck with me. Just disappearo. I didn't know what to say. My dad started laughing at me. All 12 of the college kids started laughing at me. My dad's dick started laughing at me. Lost the battle to the waves that day, Pops. Yo, I got one more story to close it out. You still with us, Tumbleroot? I always love to wrap up this story because it's about my grandfather who's from here. My grandfather was from Santa Fe his whole life, Vietnam veteran. He worked at the Santa Fe, like the charter school for like 40 years, so give it up for a real Santa Fe person that took care of y'all. My grandpa got sick when I was in college, and his cancer got like pretty bad, but he was the dopest, like first cannabis patient ever in New Mexico, like one of the first 100, and now look, we're finally at recreational weed, so like the changes and shit. My grandpa was like full hippie. He had like 2 VW Beetles you both had to push to start in Santa Fe. Like, Grandpa, could we spring together and get you a new car? He's like, nah, push me in the first cafeteria, bro. Fresh Salisbury steak on demand. First cafeteria. My grandpa was an old school Vietnam veteran. He had like pictures in Vietnam with peace sign medallions and like smoking joints. I was like, oh shit, you're real with it. But when I was in college, he got sick pretty quick, and I quit my college job. And I came up here every day to take care of my grandpa. And we would have the best time. We got really close. That last year we grew up. Like we had together. And just to give you an idea of how bad it got, by the fall time, the harvest time, he already forgot we were growing the plant. So the last time I wheeled him out, he acted like I never knew he smoked weed. My grandpa smoked weed like 8 hours a day. He was always outside doing yard work, just little Santa Fe yard work. That day he's like, what is this, Zachary? I was like, what do you mean, Grandpa? This is your plant. We've been growing this all year. He's like, oh no, this couldn't be mine. He's in his wheelchair. He tries to wheelchair himself out of the grass. He looked like Ace Ventura 2 going through the safari. He was like, like, come here, Grandpa, what are you doing? This is your house, dude. We would smoke joints. He likes to eat those ice creams that look like this like microphone, the drumstick ones with the peanuts and the chocolate. And he would eat them upside down and the chocolate would just flow down his arms. He didn't give a shit. The end was real. But my grandma was the real trooper, man. She did everything to take care of him. Physical therapy, natural medicine. She had a Reiki lady come wave crystals over my grandpa for an hour, just Like, that would be $1,000. My grandma, that lady's ripping you off. Grandpa's dying. She finally let me try medical cannabis for him, so I made my grandpa the strongest weed butter ever. I put all the New Mexico weed in it. I was trying to cure his cancer in like 1 dose. We were real with it. And I told my grandma, I was like, just use a tiny bit. It's the strongest shit I've ever made. Just a little bit on a Ritz cracker. Little did I know she made dinner that night and made baked potatoes. I totally smothered it in this butter that I made for them. For her and for him. She calls me the next morning, she's like, Zach, I think that butter was too strong. I was like, what's wrong, Grandma? You're right. She's like, yeah, well, last night I made baked potatoes, and like an hour later I was sitting in the den, and I started freaking out, and then your grandpa was freaking out on me, freaking out on him, freaking out. I was like, you good? She's like, yeah. She's like, but I couldn't walk, so I started crawling up the stairs. Your grandpa kept yelling, you Lieutenant Dan at me. I didn't understand the reference. He was like, Lieutenant Dan, you ran the lane. She's like, I do, Phil. My grandma's a saint, man. The day before, she gave him a sponge bath, true love, in his hospital bed. And that shit got weird. My grandpa, fully emaciated, got a full boner in his hospital bed. My old grandma didn't know what to do. She just threw a little white towel on it. It just looked like Casper the Ghost just floating around. Just, and then next day, I messed my grandma up on edibles, on Eddies, bro. I didn't know what to say. She's like, I finally made it to the bathroom, and I started throwing up, but I was seeing things. I think I was seeing ghosts. I think she was just traumatized by the Casper boner the day before. Just, I was really speechless. I didn't know what to tell my grandma. I was silent. And finally, she broke the silence and said, so if you could get us another batch of that butter, that would be great. All right, Santa Fe, my name's Zachary Abeyta. Thank you so much.
That's the show, everybody. How about that? Thank you so much for coming out. Give it up for yourselves. Man, oh man. WaywardComedy.com. Check us out on all the social media. We have an open mic every Wednesday at Chili Line Brewery on Guadalupe, 8 p.m. Check that out too. Please, we'd love to have you. And one more time, please, seriously, give it up for your comics. We'll see if they come out. Phil Johnson, everybody. Ryan Lawless. Katherine Myrose. Miljen Aljinovic. Caryn Carson, come on up here. And Zach Abeyta, everybody. Thank you again for coming out. We will do this show again on March 12th. March 12th, come back, please. Thank you again for coming. You guys were awesome. Drive safe. Seriously, thank you.